How would you know the use of a stirring club? The fiend, of course, did not permit any further chatter. He drew near and struck madly. The two of them thus began quite a furious battle in the fold of the mountain. The nine-pronged muckrake. One single iron club. The rake in motion churned like violent wind. The club used deftly flew like sudden rain. One was a nameless, vile fiend blocking the mountain path. One was sinful heavenly reeds helping nature's lord. With nature righted, why fear demons or fiends? On tall mountains, earth would not beget gold. That one's club parried like a serpent bolting from the deep. This one's rake came like a dragon breaking from the banks. Their shouts, thunderous, rocked mountains and streams. Their cries, heroic, stirred the depths of earth. Two valiant fighters, each showing his power. To wage a life-risking contest of might. Summoning his own powers, 8 Rules engaged the monster spirit, who also shouted for the little fiends to have his opponent encircled. We shall leave them for the moment and tell you instead about Pilgrim, who, standing behind the Tang monk, burst out laughing all of a sudden. "Elder brother," asked Sha monk, "why are you snickering?" "Ju 8 Rules is truly idiotic," said Pilgrim. When he heard that people were feeding monks, he was deceived into leaving immediately, and still hasn't returned after all this time. If his rake managed to beat back a monster spirit, you would be able to watch him come back in triumph and clamor for merit. But if he could not withstand him and got himself captured, then that would be my misfortune also, for I don't know how many times, backward and forward, he would castigate me as ban horse plague. Wu Jing, stop talking to me for a while. Let me go see what's happening. Dear great sage. Without letting the elder know, he quietly pulled a hair from the back of his head and blew his immortal breath on it, crying, "Change." It changed into his appearance to accompany both Sha monk and the elder. His true body left with his spirit to shoot up into the air, and look, he soon discovered that idiot, surrounded by the fiends, was gradually losing ground, the movements of his muckrake slackening. Pilgrim could no longer restrain himself. Lowering his cloud, he cried out in a loud voice, "Don't worry, 8 Rules. Old monkey's here." When that idiot heard Pilgrim's voice, he was stirred to greater strength than ever as he attacked madly with his rake. Unable to withstand him, the monster spirit said, "A moment ago, this monk was beginning to weaken. Why is it that he has turned more ferocious all at once?" "My child," said 8 Rules, "you shouldn't try to oppress me. A family member of mine has arrived." Ever more fiercely he delivered blows at his opponent's head and face, until the monster spirit could hardly parry his blows and led the other monsters to retreat in defeat. When Pilgrim saw the monster spirit flee, however, he did not draw near. Turning his cloud around, he went back to where he had been, and with one shake retrieved his hair. Being of fleshly eyes and mortal stock, the elder did not perceive what had taken place. In a little while, Idiot also returned. Though he was the winner, he had been so exercised that he was sniveling from the nose and foaming at the mouth. Panting hard, he walked near to call out, "Master." Astonished by the sight of him, the elder said, 8 Rules, you went to cut some grass for the horse. How is it that you're returning in such terrible shape? Could it be that people on the mountain are guarding the grass and refuse to let you cut it? Putting down his rake, Idiot began to slap his head and stamp his feet, saying, "Master, don't ask. If I told you, I'd be embarrassed to death." "Why?" asked the elder. 8 Rules said, "Elder brother tricked me. He said at first that there was no monster spirit in the wind and fog, that there was no evil omen. It was, he said, a village, and its families were devoted to virtue. They were steaming white grain rice and bleached flour buns to feed the monks. Since I thought it was the truth and was feeling so hungry, I wanted to get there and beg some first, on the excuse that I was cutting grass for the horse. Little did I expect that there would be quite a few fiends, who had me surrounded. I have been fighting bitterly with them all this time. If it hadn't been for the assistance lent by elder brother's morning staff, I would have never escaped the net and come back here." On one side, Pilgrim began to laugh, saying, "This idiot's babbling. The moment you become a thief, you like to shift the blame on a whole bunch of people. I was watching Master right here. Since when did I leave his side?" "That's right," said the elder. "Wukong hasn't left me at all." Jumping up and down, 8 Rules screamed, "Master, you just don't know. He has an alibi." The elder said, "Wukong, are there really fiends?" Knowing that he could no longer fool him, Pilgrim bowed and said, chuckling, "There are a few small ones, but they don't dare bother us. 8 Rules, come over here. I want to entrust you with something truly worthwhile. When we escort Master through this rugged mountain road, we should act as if we were on military maneuvers." "What would we do if we were?" asked 8 Rules. "You can be the pathfinding general and open up the road in front," replied Pilgrim. "You needn't do anything if the monster spirit doesn't show up, but if he appears, you fight with him. If you prevail, it will be regarded as your meritorious fruit." 8 Rules calculated that the monster spirit's abilities were about the same as his, and so he said, "I don't mind dying at his hands. Let me lead the way." "This idiot," said Pilgrim with a chuckle. "If he mouths such unlucky words first, how can he make any progress?" 8 Rules said, "Elder brother, do you know the proverb? A prince at a banquet will either be drunk or fed. A fighter on the field will either be hurt or dead. I want to say something amiss first, and then I may prove to be the stronger afterward." Delighted, Pilgrim saddled the horse at once and asked the master to mount. With Sha Monk toting the luggage, they all followed 8 Rules into the mountain, and we shall leave them for the moment. We tell you instead about that monster spirit who led those several defeated little fiends back to their own cave. Taking a seat high on a rocky edge, he fell completely silent. Many of the little fiends who had remained behind as household guards crowded around him to ask, "Great King, when you go out, you frequently return in a happy mood. Why are you so troubled today?" "Little ones," replied the old monster. "Normally when I go out to patrol the mountain, I grab a few humans or beasts, regardless of where they are from, to take back home for you to feast on. Today my luck's rather poor, for I ran into an adversary." "What adversary?" asked the little monsters. "He happens to be a monk," replied the old monster. "A disciple of the scripture seeker Tang monk from the land of the east, whose name is Ju 8 Rules. I was defeated by blows from his muckrake. I'm damn mad. For years, I've heard people say that the Tang monk is an arhat who has practiced austerities in 10 incarnations. If someone eats a piece of his flesh, his age will be lengthened, and he'll attain longevity. Little did I expect him to arrive this day at our mountain. I wanted so badly to seize him and have him steamed for food, but I didn't know he had a disciple like that under him." He had hardly finished speaking when a little monster stepped forward from the ranks. Facing the old monster above, he sobbed 3 times aloud, and then he laughed 3 times. "Why are you weeping and crying?" snapped the old monster. The little monster knelt down to say, "Just now the great king says that he wants to eat the Tang monk, but I would like to tell you that this monk's flesh is impossible to eat." The old monster said, "People everywhere claim that one piece of his flesh will enable one to live long without growing old, to acquire an age as lasting as heavens. Why do you say that it's impossible to eat?" "If it were possible," replied the little monster, "he wouldn't have made it here, for he would have been devoured by monster spirits elsewhere. He has 3 disciples under him, you see." "Do you know which 3?" asked the old monster. "His eldest disciple is Pilgrim Sun," said the little monster. "And his 3rd disciple is Sha Monk. This Ju 8 Rules is his 2nd disciple." "How strong is Sha Monk when compared with Ju 8 Rules?" asked the old monster. "About the same," replied the little monster. "What about that Pilgrim Sun?" How does he compare with Jew? Sticking out his tongue, the little monster said, I dare not speak. That pilgrim son has vast magic powers and knows many ways of transformation. 500 years ago, he caused great disturbance at the Celestial Palace. Those 28 constellations from the region above, the 9 luminaries, the 12 horary branches, the 5 nobles and 4 ministers, the stars of east and west, the gods of north and south, the deities of the 5 mountains, and the 4 rivers, and the divine warriors of entire heaven could not tangle successfully with him. How could you have the nerve to want to eat the Tang monk? How do you know so much about him? Asked the old monster. The little monster said, I used to live with the great kings of the Lion Camel Cave at the Lion Camel Ridge. Those great kings, not knowing anything better, wanted to devour the Tang monk. When Pilgrim Sun used his golden hooped rod to fight inside our door, alas, he reduced us to the condition like the title of a domino combination, -1, abolish 6. I was intelligent enough, fortunately, to slip out the back door and come here to be received by the great king. That's how I found out about his abilities. When the old monster heard these words, he paled with fright, for as the saying goes, even a great general is afraid of augury.